Hey there, this is Roman of RomanandWriting.com. Today I want to start a new video series called The Secrets of Writing. And today we'll start, well, where it all begins in how to actually start writing. Most people try to wait for the perfect moment to get started, to find the best possible opening line. I mean, think back to when you're writing your essays, especially when it's a timed writing in school, or even when you have an assignment or something when you're trying to write. And you sit there and think for the perfect introduction to something you haven't even written yet. And what you come out with is since the beginning of time, man has this, that, and the other thing. And it took you probably a good half hour, maybe even a couple of days, possibly a month, to come up with that, and it's terrible. But that's the thing. Even if you start right now, putting your pen to paper or your hand to a keyboard and start typing, it's going to be bad. You're going to start off bad. It's you're not going to like what you write. But that's not the point. The point is to just start. You have to start somewhere. So just start writing, and eventually you'll get something good. Eventually something will click. Eventually you'll get the words that you want out onto the paper. The other thing with just starting writing is don't come up with an introduction. How can you introduce something that doesn't even exist yet? You're trying to introduce an essay or begin something that isn't even there. How could you introduce somebody, like if you were going to introduce somebody onto the stage, if you don't know who they are? If you have no idea who they are, you have no idea who's coming out, you know nothing about them, how are you supposed to introduce that? How are you supposed to get that introduction going? Well, you can't. So my next step, especially if you're writing an essay, is to start with the body, start with your argument, start with the topic. Don't start with the introduction. Starting with a thesis statement is good, but even then, your thesis statement is kind of the end of your essay. It's not the beginning of your essay. In this way, essays are generally backwards in the way we think. Generally, you reason things out, and then you come up with a conclusion. Well, your thesis is that conclusion, but you're putting it first so that the person who's reading it knows what you're about. They know what's going to happen. So you kind of have to do the thinking out loud. You kind of have to do the thinking out loud on paper. Get your stuff down. And it's not enough just to think about it. Because our thoughts can be very muddied. Our thoughts can go all over the place, right? It's when you write them down they become concrete, that you can go back and read them and say, oh, this is flawed, or this doesn't make sense. But until you write it, you don't know that. The next thing is that unless you have something written down, there's nothing to revise. There's nothing to edit. There's nothing to build upon. There's nothing to scratch out. There's nothing to get rid of. You can't edit or revise a blank page. No matter how bad something is, if it's on the page, it can be changed. I like to liken this to sculpting. The first thing a sculptor needs in order to sculpt is a block, right? You have to get a block of something, wood, stone, marble, granite, whatever, in order to start. Well, a lot of people say, well, the thing you need to write is paper and pen, or, you know, something to write on, something to write with. But that's not really true. See, writers, we have to quarry our own stone. We can't go to somebody and just get some stuff. We have to quarry our own stone. And what I mean by that is you have to write. In order to have something to work on, you have to write first. You have to quarry that stone and actually make something, put something on a page in order to work with it. So don't worry about how bad it is. The only person that ever needs to see how bad your writing is you. You're the only person that needs to see how bad it is. if it's that bad, you work it until it's good, and the bad stuff, just get rid of. Just get rid of the bad stuff. Nobody ever has to know how bad you are. The other thing that a lot of people have problems with is you can't wait for that perfect moment. The perfect moment never comes. You're like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, my mind is all over the place. Oh, I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I'll smoke one more cigarette. I'll take one more vape. Oh, I need to get something to drink. Oh, my kids need this. My kids need that. I got to go. You know what? There's a lot of things that come up, and there's a lot of things that'll get in the way. And if you're trying to find this beautiful Zen moment, it will happen, but it'll happen as you're writing, not before you start writing. If you want to get in that zone, if you want to get into that place where you can actually do some great writing, you have to start first. And that's kind of the secret to it, is that there really is no secret. And that's what you're going to find with this whole series, is there really is no secret. The secrets are just some common sense, plain, easy things that are very, very difficult. Because when you sit down at that blank page, it's daunting. As Hemingway said, writing is the easiest thing in the world. You just sit down at a typewriter and bleed. And that's really what you have to do. You just have to cut it open and let it pour out. It's going to be bad. There's very few writers in the history of the world that have been able to get away with just writing perfection on the page the first time through. There's very few of those people. I'm certainly not one of them. Sometimes it takes 4, 5, 6 revisions and edits, and a few other people going through it and looking at things and chopping and everything else. So yeah, you have to, if you're going to write, if you need to write something, even a simple essay, don't wait till it's perfect in your head, or, that old excuse, is your essay done? Well, yeah, it's done. I just haven't written it yet. No, I've used it many, many times, but it's simply not true. The essay itself, the idea might be in your head, but until you put it down on paper, until you put it down on the screen, it's not an essay. It doesn't exist. And you need something to work on. So that's it for me today. Just go out, start writing. Just start doing it, no matter how bad it is. Just get it out, and eventually things will start to come together. And if you need a little help with your next essay, writing project, novel, poem, whatever it is, if you want some instructions like these, or just a little personal one-on-one to help you out with your writing, please visit romanandwriting.com. Contact me on Facebook, Twitter, on Discord, wherever you can get in touch with me. I will help you out. I'm glad to help you out. The first session is free. After that, I just ask that you pay something whenever you can to help out to help me out, so that I can continue to help people with their writing, and to get more of us out there producing good writing and being proud of the stuff they put out there. So thank you, and I'll see you next time.